Good afternoon, everybody. It is Steve Lookner with Agenda Free TV. I am very sorry for the delay. We got a little delayed here, so I apologize for that. Once in a while, that does happen, but we are here, and we are going to bring you updates on the hurricane damage and some other stories today. So we are going to get into it, and we're going to be taking your comments on the air. You can write to me at Lookner on X, and I will be reading comments from the chat as well. I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate our moderators. We have Janet B. moderating. Thank you, Janet, over there on YouTube. We have, hold on a moment here. Linda Belk, Larry, and Misha moderate for us on X. On Twitch, thanks to our moderators on Twitch and Facebook as well. Hang on a moment here. Thanks also Margaret Riley and Shannon Davis Hughes and Ava Knight modding right now over on Facebook. I really appreciate it. Thanks Martha Crawford and Laverne Thompson. Good to see you, Laverne, for subscribing over there. Okay, and before we begin, I wanted to check one thing here. It's possible while we're on the air that there will be another Jamaica briefing. There was already one today. Where is that here? I don't know if they'll have a second one today. We're gonna check. The morning briefing was today. Right now it's 4:25 in Jamaica. So maybe they'll have a second one while we're on the air. But we'll probably either we'll watch the second one or we'll watch the first one. Okay. And just so you know, currently Melissa is accelerating northeastward over the Bahamas. It is a Category 1 hurricane right now. It made landfall in Cuba as well. And here is the satellite shot. Here it is right here. It doesn't look like it did yesterday. A lot more disorganized. That is from Tropical Tidbits as it makes its way through the Bahamas. I'll check what we're hearing about Cuba. I have to look into that. Okay, let's talk first about some of the damage in Jamaica. There was actually, Haiti reported that there were I think around 25 people died when a river overflowed, which is terrible. You can see here, Hurricane Melissa leaves dozens of dead and trail of destruction across Cuba, Haiti, and Jamaica. This is from AP. Hurricane Melissa left at least dozens dead. I have some videos too. At least dozens dead amid widespread destruction across Cuba, Haiti, and Jamaica, where roofless homes, toppled utility poles, and waterlogged furniture dominated the landscape Wednesday. That is from AP. Remember yesterday that a government minister in Jamaica said St. Elizabeth's Parish was underwater, he said. St. Elizabeth's Parish has about 150,000 people who live there. Let me show you where that is before we talk about that. We're going to be talking about other stories as well. St. Elizabeth Parish, not Elizabeth's. St. Elizabeth Parish in Jamaica. Here it is right here. There you can see it on the map, which is a bit to the east of where the hurricane made landfall. That parish, in the press conference last night, they said it was underwater and it had very significant damage. So it says a landslide, AP says a landslide blocked the main roads of Santa Cruz and St. Elizabeth Parish, where the streets were reduced to mud pits. Residents swept water from homes as they tried to salvage belongings. Wind ripped off part of the roof of the high school it serves as a public shelter. A resident said, "I've never seen anything like this before in all my years living here." The extent of the damage was unclear today as widespread power outages and dangerous conditions persisted. I know earlier in the day it was said that 77% of customers of the public electric utility, the big public electric utility in Jamaica, did not have power. 77%. I don't know what it is right now. But the extent of the damage was unclear today as widespread power outages and dangerous conditions persisted. Jamaica's education minister said it is too early for us to say definitively. The hurricane made landfall with top winds of 185 miles an hour, one of the strongest Atlantic hurricanes on record, before weakening and moving on to Cuba. Now, Haiti, this is so crazy. At least 23 people have died across Haiti and 13 are missing. 20 of those reported dead and 10 of the missing are from a southern coastal town where flooding collapsed dozens of homes. That's in Haiti. At least 8 are dead in Jamaica. I saw a report today earlier that said, it was from Jamaica Star, that said 3 bodies had been found in Black River in St. Elizabeth. And the newest body was found in the Gallon Beach area of St. Elizabeth, which has been devastated by the storm. Also in Cuba, officials have reported collapsed houses, blocked mountain roads, and roofs blown off buildings Wednesday. Authorities said over 700,000 people remained in shelters in Cuba. Oh, yeah, see, 77% of the island is without power in Jamaica. The outages complicated assessing the damage because of a total communication blackout in areas in Jamaica. Officials in Black River, Jamaica, a coastal town of about 5,000 people in the southwestern part of the island, pleaded for aid Wednesday. We're going to probably watch that news conference. Catastrophic is a mild term based on what we are observing, says the mayor. He said local rescue infrastructure had been demolished by the storm. The hospital, police units, and emergency service were inundated by floods and unable to conduct emergency operations. St. Elizabeth Police told Nationwide News Network today that at least 4 bodies have been found in southwest Jamaica. In the west, a tree fell on a baby, which killed the baby. Terrible. There were 3 deaths in Jamaica the storm was blamed for during preparation. I remember they announced that. Here, I mean, this is really sad. In Petit Goâve, Haiti, this is Haiti, a 30-year-old lawyer said he saw bodies lying among the debris. Hurricane Melissa killed at least 20 people in a town of approximately 12,000 people in Haiti. By the way, I don't have the rights to it. I'm gonna post a link in the chat of some footage, some drone footage that was posted. I want to share that with you. And you can look at it again. I don't have the rights to it, but there has been drone footage today showing some devastation. So I'm going to post one link right now. I just posted that. These are from Giovanni Dennis, who is a reporter. He works at a TV station in Jamaica. And then, where's the other one? Hold on, I'll get it for you. A local official posted several drone videos. I have some videos, but I want to post some links to these drone videos. Where is that? There's one post with like 4 of them. Give me one. Floyd Green posted it. Oh, I should play this. I'll play a video by Floyd Green. He is a minister, Floyd Green. But I'm going to post a link. Floyd Green posted some videos, some drone videos. So I just posted a link in the chat. Here is what Floyd Green said. He is the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Mining. So let's hear what he had to say. He posted, we're on the ground in southwest, again, St. Elizabeth Parish, which has been devastated, assessing the damage from Hurricane Melissa. Nearly 90% of homes are affected in St. Elizabeth, population around 150,000, with many communities cut off from roads, light, and data. Recovery starts now. Our people will need your help. So let's hear what he had to say.
We are in Black River. Black River has been devastated by Hurricane Melissa. A number of the communities across Southwest, all the way from Treasure Beach through the woods down into Barbara Harbour mountainside, coming over the beach into Feisbed, Middle Quarters. Almost 90% of the houses have suffered infrastructural damage. The Prime Minister was with us today.
I'm sorry, I still have the old graphic about the hurricane up. I apologize. I didn't even notice that was up there. So let me remove that and play this again. Sorry about that. I just forgot it was still up there. There it is. Okay. I apologize. The hurricane, that was the hurricane statistics from yesterday. Let's do this. What I'm going to do is, you know what? Hold on a second here. Let me just do this a different way. This will be better if I do it this way. Okay, let's play what he said again. He's in Black River in St. Elizabeth Parish.
We are in Black River. Black River has been devastated by Hurricane Melissa. A number of the communities across Southwest, all the way from Treasure Beach through the woods down into Barbara Harbour mountainside, coming over the beach into Feisbed, Middle Quarters. Almost 90% of the houses have suffered infrastructural damage. The Prime Minister was with us today on the ground, seeing firsthand entities like the Black River Hospital, Porthouse Parish Council, all of those cannot function because, again, they have been destroyed. Nonetheless, the recovery effort starts now. The Prime Minister has tasked the Army to lead the recovery effort. The team from DART, which is our disaster recovery task force that was established by the Prime Minister, are en route to Southwest St. Elizabeth to help us with the recovery process. Firstly, we're trying to clear the roads. We already have 3 contractors on the ground. We are going to massive relief supplies. I imagine about 30,000 individuals that are impacted directly by Hurricane Melissa, including not having electricity, not having phone contact, and as such are in need of water, food, basic supplies. So we will be mobilizing, working with OTEM, working with the Ministry of Labor, and working with you to mobilize support as soon as we get some pathways in, which we expect to have by later today or tomorrow. We will start our distribution of relief. Together, we will build back strength.
Said they have to create pathways to get in to get people the aid. Sorry, the audio I know was kind of bad on that, but you know, he's in a hurricane disaster area. One of the viewers said, how could you donate? So yesterday the government announced they had set up an official donation site. I actually donated there last night. There is an official government donation site, which is supportjamaica.gov.jm. Is it working? I thought I typed it in right. Is it not working right now? Let's see. It was working yesterday. The site is not working. I hope it's not working because lots of people are going there. It says upstream connect error or disconnect reset before headers. That's not good. Reset reason connection failure. That is the site though. I will remind me later. I'll give the address later when the site's working. I don't want to give it now and then people just don't. I'd rather give it out when it's supportjamaica.gov.jm, but I'll put the link later when it's working in the chat. Jacqueline says maybe too many on the site. I know there's been some internet stuff going on today, internet outage issues with certain things. I don't know if it's connected to this. Totality mentions Microsoft Azure services, I believe, was having a problem. Oh, is it back up? Hey, it's back. It's already fixed. Hey, it got fixed. All right, there it is. So I will post the link to this site in the chat right now. But again, the government has announced that this is the official donation site if you're looking for a place to donate. That's where I donated last night. So I just posted the link. supportjamaica.gov.jm. But there it is. Hey, is it true that one of our viewers just mentioned Josh Morgerman is still missing? Is that true? Josh is a storm chaser. He was reporting yesterday. That's not good. Josh was chasing there. He was posting from there yesterday. So I'll keep an eye on that too. I mean, communications might be really, really bad there, obviously. So Josh is, he is at iCyclone. Here, I'll show you what his page is. At iCyclone. He's a great storm chaser. Very well known, respected. Jay says he goes offline sometimes in these situations. The last post he made was yesterday when he said 10:25 a.m. frightening power whiteout, roofs tearing off, gusts like bombs going off, painful ears, praise the Lord for solid concrete, 962 millibars. Sherry says Jeff Piotrowski was tearing up in a lot of his broadcasts today. He's another storm chaser who's there who you can follow. He's been posting as well. Jeff Piotrowski, at Jeff_Piotrowski. Oh, B&O News posted some before and after shots, so satellite footage. Yeah, I hadn't even seen that earlier today. I'm going to post a link to, I don't own the rights to the pictures. B&O News posted a satellite shot before and after in Black River, Jamaica, which is in St. Elizabeth Parish, which was devastated. So I'm posting a link to the B&O News post right now. Oh, is this? I can show you this. This is a hey, I have a video I can show you. This is a government video. Oh, wow. I have a lot I can show you, actually. I just realized I have access to a bunch of the video here. Give me a moment here, okay? Give me 1 second. We'll look at some of the drone video. Just give me 2 seconds here. Where is the... Hold on. Okay, I got it right now. I have it right now. I had missed this before. Okay, we're going to take a look at this. I'm going to take some comments from you guys too. Then you can see the Prime Minister Andrew Holness posted video of images, including drone video. So we're going to look at that next. The AP article we just read said 8 are reported dead in Jamaica so far. That could change. Fred Flintstone says, looks like a bomb went off. And again, a lot of people are without power there. There's still not clear the exact extent of damage there. We heard one of the local ministers say in Black River, 90% of homes were impacted. TD Sports Cards believes Black River got leveled. Our viewer, Texas Gal, says it appears Josh Morgerman is still missing. So let's hope he turns up soon. I actually I didn't know that he was going to answer it, but I sent a message I sent a message to him last night because I was worried because I hadn't heard from him. Not me personally, but he hadn't posted. I figured, I'm sure a lot of people have reached out to him. Our viewer, No Kappa Name, thinks Josh will be fine. There's no internet there and no road access, so it will take him a week to come back to any civilized place. I don't know about a week, but certainly, I'm sure there's all kinds of communications and transportation issues. Paula Thompson says, sometimes missing means someone can't let you know where they are. I hope he is okay. So Josh, was he in Black River? I have to go to his. I don't remember. I have to go and look at on his page. If you give me 2 seconds. I saw when he posted he had found a place. So he posted in 935 from Crawford, St. Elizabeth Parish. If you look there, he said, Crawford, St. Elizabeth Parish, 9:35 a.m. Crashing sounds like an explosion. Wreckage flying down the street. Trees bending way over. Very unpleasant pressure in the ears. Crawford, St. Elizabeth Parish. And he said good morning from Crawford that morning. Let me show you where that is. I want to show you where Black River is and Crawford is. So there is Black River right there. It's right on the water, pretty much. I don't know what how the storm surge. I haven't seen firm storm surge numbers. So not only would have they would have gotten the winds and the rain, but also possibly storm surge. There's Black River, and then Crawford, where he was. Crawford is right near Black River. Crawford is actually closer to where the landfall was than Black River. Landfall was around New Hope, which is here. So Crawford, where Josh was, is about only 6 miles or so from where the landfall was. And then, Black River is probably 10 miles or so from landfall. Or 8 miles, not even 10 miles, 8 or 9 miles. So again, Black River was enormously damaged, but Crawford, where he was, is actually even closer to the center, to landfall than Black River is. Hang on, I'm going to show you some video right now. Jamaican Rose says, I stayed at an Airbnb in Black River back in 2023. Sharon says the Black River Hospital was destroyed. Let me, that's what Sharon Solomon said. Let me, real quick, I also want to keep an eye on, I don't know if they're doing a late day briefing in Jamaica today. They might. They did one in the morning. Over 90% of the houses were damaged in Black River. Okay, let's look at, by the way, a quick thank you to Patricia Grace, and I Am Charlie, and Fliptrepreneur, who says, hard to get images of Cuba, horrible devastation. I'm guessing in the days to come, you're just going to see more and more images of how terrible it is there and what's happened. Jojo, I Am to you, and Johnny58, thanks for being members. Sam Patton. Sam, I haven't heard about any damage in Puerto Rico. I mean, the storm hasn't been up that way. I'm sorry. The storm wasn't, just to show you here, to get you the path. At least on this trip through, I didn't hear about any damage in Puerto Rico. I don't remember what happened when it was coming to the west, but the, hold on a second here. I would have to go check about like how much rain they got when it was coming through. I just have no idea. I have to find the, if I go to Storm Archive and I go to, can't even find it here, Graphics Archive, 5-day cone with line. Is this going to load? It's not loading. 3-day cone with line? 5-day cone with line? It's not loading. I'm having trouble loading it. I was trying to show you where it went. Oh, here it is. It's loading. Oh, you know what? It never even, did it form right here? I don't even remember. Did it even ever pass Puerto Rico? I have to look it up. But see, it went this way. I mean, this is the basic way it went. So Puerto Rico's over here. You know, what I have to do is, I had forgotten the origin. Here. So there is yeah, it was not a tropical storm. It was a tropical storm where? It was not a hurricane until over here. Until well after Puerto Rico. It was a tropical storm for part of this. Over here. Anyways. That's from the Wikipedia article on it. Quick thanks to our moderators. Thanks, by the way, to Johnny58. Thank you, Johnny. And also, quick thanks to our moderators. Janet B is moderating. Thank you. Janet, Beth Mythical. Thank you. Over on Twitch, I Got That Fire, Matthew Kohai 3 and Sarah moderating. Thank you. Facebook, Margaret Riley, Shannon Davis Hughes, Ava Knight. Big thanks. And Linda Belk, Larry, and Misha on X. Okay, I said I was going to show you this video. Here is the video that the Prime Minister posted. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do it this way. We'll set it up this way. Hang on, let me see if I do it this way. Oh, that's maybe better. This is video posted by the Prime Minister. It's his video. It says Government of Jamaica video. Posted by the government, including the Prime Minister. So if I do this, and I do this, this should work. Okay, good. See, it says the aerial shots of St. Elizabeth are heartbreaking. So here's some video. This was posted today by Andrew Holness, and you can see it says Government of Jamaica on it. I'm going to interrupt because something I think it's helpful to do is, you see these things fly by and you might think, oh, that house is fine. But like, look, all of these houses right here, the roofs are off, right? And it's possible that all these are just flooded. See, like if you stop, this house, the roof's off, this house, the roof's off, the roof's off, roof is off. All these roofs are off. Roofs are off. Roofs are off. And also, I mean, for all you know, all these houses were just greatly flooded and are just, unusable even if you could replace the roof. But you miss it when it's going by, you can miss the details. You know what I can do real quick? Let me just blow this up a little bit, just so you can see, just for a second, so you can see some more of the specifics. You know, if you make it a little bigger, but you just look from building to building and you just see all of the different buildings. You know, over here, it's like, yeah, there's structures standing. It looks like there was flooding, roofs, you know, totally damaged, walls missing in some places. So it's, I mean, you see structures here, but it's possible they're just not usable anymore. Then here's another shot, again, just to zoom in a little bit, right? There's structures there. Mama 457 Rose says, looks like a war zone. Allie C says many houses are gone. Yeah, you do see some places where it looks like there's just no house there anymore. Maybe here? Here? Russian severe weather video says that looks like F3 damage. I have been deployed to disaster areas before. First 24 hours are crucial when it comes to search and rescue. So I'm going to play the video. I just wanted to stop for a second because when you actually look and you stop it, it's like you just see disastrous damage after disastrous damage. Also, note the trees. A lot of the trees are just ripped off, right? You see the trunk, and that's it. This is St. Elizabeth Parish, which was underwater yesterday. I mean, the government minister said it was underwater, St. Elizabeth Parish. So it's possible that the water has. I don't know if all this was flooded. It's possible. I mean, when you look at like a house like this also, it's like not only is the roof off, but it just looks like it's been devastated inside. And same with this one too. Ty Smith says the breadbasket of the country. I believe they called it that in the press conference yesterday. So again, I'll play this in a second. I just want to kind of show you a couple of the specifics here. And I zoomed in a little bit on the screen so you could see better. All right, I'll play it in a second. Hold on. What I'll do now is I'll zoom a little less. Pull this down. I got to do this the right way. Put that there. Put that there. Okay. And then this is Black River here. Again, I'll play the video, but I'm interested in kind of just seeing some of the stills. This is Black River. Look at this. Yeah, I mean, this is, Black River was, I believe several thousand people live in Black River. And I mean, just look at, you know, this, it's crazy. And my guess is like houses like this. I mean, you see the house kind of standing, but it very well could be completely unusable and just totally gutted inside and flooded out. I mean, and this looks like it's just floodwater receding, you know? Crazy. All right, hold on. So what I'm going to do now is now that we sort of stopped and looked at some of those still shots, now I'm going to play the video. But as the helicopter is flying over, just know that if you stopped it, you would see a lot of this specific damage that's a little harder to see when you can't really see it when the helicopter is flying by. All right, I'm going to keep playing it, and then the town of Black River is going to be next. But I mean, it's area after area after area, right? It's not a few blocks. And you know, look, this is why yesterday when we were covering this, some people were saying, like, it doesn't look so bad. This isn't a Category 5. And we were saying, you know, you're not going to have somebody, odds are, you're not going to have somebody standing out there with a camera when it's 185 mile an hour max sustained winds and 9 to 13 feet of storm surge. And I mean, there was actually just not that much live video yesterday for understandable reasons. Terrible conditions, the communications gets impacted, so you just can't judge. You know, the day of, you cannot judge based on the few live streams you might see. We didn't see, I don't remember seeing a single live stream with the, like, you know, showing a roof flying off. But look at all the damage, you know. So this is what happens. Where are all the residents? So what do you ever, I know a bunch of people went to shelters, but that's a good question. I mean, we'll have to see. I hope people stayed safe and hunkered down and went to shelters, or maybe evacuated the area. I don't know though. You know, some people were found dead today in Black River, a few people. So we'll have to see how this goes. I do not have a good sense for how many people might be missing or anything. Jen said a hospital lost its roof. Oh, hold on a moment here. Give me 1 sec. So we're going to keep playing this, but, you know, that's just a sampling. Legend says, imagine the amount of money it's going to cost to fix all of those. Give me one moment. I am keeping an eye to see if they're gonna, if there's gonna be another press conference, a live one, maybe because they did one in the morning. Let me just do a quick check here. I haven't seen an announcement about a late day press briefing, but I'll keep an eye on it. Thanks to Jean-Paul Lachance for the memberships. Thanks, Jean-Paul. So again, we've been looking at, we're going to show you more. This is footage from St. Elizabeth Parish, which is, it's this parish in here. Oh, you can't see what I'm looking at. You'll be able to see in a second what I'm looking at. One moment, and I'll show you. That is St. Elizabeth Parish right there. About 150,000 residents. It was described yesterday by the government as being underwater. The hurricane made landfall near, if I remember right, New Hope, I believe. Just make sure of that. Make sure I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, near New Hope. So New Hope is right here, just a mile or two from St. Elizabeth Parish. So St. Elizabeth Parish we've been looking at, and now we're going to see Black River, some footage from there, which was particularly, we've heard about, that was devastated. There's Black River right there, right near the water. Just maybe 6 miles or something from where the landfall was. Hold on, let me cue it up to the right point. Where was that? Where did it say Black River here? I'm going to play from the 3-minute mark. I think it was after this. Oh no, it was earlier. See, it says the town Black River. Sorry. All right, let's look at some of the damage posted by, this is posted by the, why is that not there? Oh, I see. I think I see. Oh, I'm sorry. I know what I just did. Give me a moment. I'm going to show you the, here. Sorry. Here it is. So let's look at some more of this video posted by the Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, of the damage. And you'll see this, we're about to see some of the helicopter footage from Black River. says St. Elizabeth has been devastated by Hurricane Melissa. You know, something I noticed, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like most of the houses we see, there's not even windows there in them, right? Doesn't it look like all the windows have either been blown out or just flooded out or something? I mean, it just looks like a lot of these buildings that are left standing are just shells, you know? You're not seeing many windows. Roofs either, as Beth Mythical says, right. One of our viewers had said, where's the comment? Hypaholic said Black River got hammered by the northeast part of the eye wall. Beth Chakama says they look gutted. I just, you just notice that it's all, where the window should be, it's all dark. And remember, it's not just like, I mean, when a tornado happens, it's bad enough, but I'm guessing there was extreme flooding here. Again, yesterday they said St. Elizabeth Parish was underwater. So what you're not necessarily seeing is if you went into these houses, I'm sure a lot of them, you go in there and you'd be like, well, this is just unusable because it's been flooded out. Purple Sailboat says it's a wealthy area because it's the main agriculture hub. I will say some of the houses look, there's different types of housing, but there's clearly some houses that are very, stately houses, big houses and multiple floors and big, huge, and I mean, all kinds of housing has been damaged, but you see a lot of those have been damaged as well. It is, Black River, I will admit, I did not know this. Black River is the capital of the parish. About 150,000 people live in St. Elizabeth, about 4,000 in Black River. The parish produces a large quantity of Jamaica's sugar, said Wikipedia. There are 2 sugar factories there. Fishing's a big industry there, tomato canning, a lot of agriculture there. There's a fertile soil there. It's a major producer of bauxite. Which is a sedimentary rock. It has been a significant tourist destination, with most visitors going to Treasure Beach. I haven't watched this whole video, so I don't. Treasure Beach, we had that video yesterday that we were showing the live video of from JS Photography, and I messaged a bit with her, and she said that she said the biggest thing was that the flooding around there, that so many people had been flooding, had gotten significant flood damage, Treasure Beach. Cedar says Treasure Beach must be destroyed completely. Some footage. I'll see if there's some on this. I don't know. I saw some last night. The JS Photography, because I was messaging with her after we went off the air just a little bit, and she sent me a few photos. And it wasn't like, there was some structures certainly still standing. There was definitely damage, but she said the flood damage was horrible. Purple Sailboat says we saw many villas. All right, let's look at some more of this video that was posted by Prime Minister Holness. The section we were looking at was Black River, and it says St. Elizabeth Parish, where Black River is the capital of, has been devastated by Hurricane Melissa. disaster. So this is more of the video posted by the Prime Minister today. There is the Prime Minister. This is from St. Elizabeth.
I would say about 90% of that would be your estimate. Yeah. About 90% of after today's assessment.
It's crazy with the trees. Trees just devastated, as you can see. Well, you see it on the ground. I mean, look at all the water. The whole front yard is water, right? And that's today. So I'm sure there was, so much flooding in the area yesterday. Wow.
Yeah, we are walking through the short cut.
This is new work. Yeah,
Wow.
these are brand new. These were put up in Berry. After Berry.
The poles are up.
Yeah. Definitely the pool. There's a bunch of pools.
Wow, that looked like a commercial area. You could see like a KFC there. Right? There. It looks like you're in kind of the middle of nowhere because of the damage, but that's a KFC. I mean, just cleaning up all the debris is going to be this huge undertaking. One of our viewers expressed concern about the mosquito situation there. Rose H2O. Yeah, I don't know enough about that with all the water you're saying.
Yeah. Richie, you have any? The bush marks, yeah, the bush marks. I don't know if you want to.
So we walk around.
Yeah, walk around. Instead of through the wall.
Yeah, man. And that.
All right, this is Black River Hospital here. Black.
Nothing.
This is the hospital.
I see that. I want to thank all of you for your service. I know it must have been a harrowing experience.
Very, very. The most terrifying experience in all my life, and I would not want to see it again.
But you don't report
See, one of the people who I guess working there said it's the most terrifying experience in all her life, she said.
any loss of life.
Thank God. God has been good to us.
No, not because of the scope. But obviously, the care that you have taken in protecting the patients would have paid I don't know if you have had an opportunity to see the rest of the song, but certainly you have heard.
We're not sure what's going on. Many of us don't know what is happening to our children, our parents, because we are here. We are here.
One of them, I think, just said, many of us don't know what happened to our children and our parents because we are here. You see what I'm saying? Like, you see what they're saying? Like, they're saying, like, they had to be there. They're at the hospital. This happened. And, like, communications are down. So they haven't even, like, talked to family members. You know, this video was taken earlier today. This is the Prime Minister's video. But I'm guessing the cell phones don't work there. And, you know, how are you going to communicate with people? Crazy. Again, Black River is the capital of St. Elizabeth's parish, and this is the Black River Hospital. We'll watch some more of the video here. Mama 457 Rose says it is heartbreaking. And you know, like when they walked by the cars, you might, from the helicopter, you might see some cars and you're like, oh, the cars are fine. But when they walk by the cars, you can see a lot of the cars are damaged. For all I know, the cars were all flooded and you can't use them anymore. I don't know, but that might be the case as well. Hey, thanks, Joe. We talked about Cuba a little earlier. I don't know that much about Cuba. I'll have to look and see if I can find some updates a little later in the stream. So the Jamaican government did do it. They did a press briefing, which we might watch some of. But I was wondering that if they might do another one while we're on the air, because then we could just watch it live. I don't know if they're going to. I keep looking to see if they've announced it, but they haven't announced it yet. But I'll keep an eye out for that. Javier says, watching a family in Jamaica live on YouTube. Thank you, by the way, to AZ Intel's dad and our member Travis W. Also, Guy from the 207. who says, serious question, how will Trump respond? Big Dog Gaming, thank you. Hefty Charger. Okay, let's watch some more of this. Did they say it was their last? Andy says they said that was their last press briefing. I haven't even watched it yet, the first one. So we might watch some of the first press briefing at some point too. The one from today.
We just can't hear anything from them.
Exactly. I don't think none of us are competent enough to describe what happened. It is beyond imagining. We can't really imagine. At one point you would think that you have some missiles just letting go in the glass. You just see things just going here, there, glass, boom. And in spite of everything, patience.
Let me see if I can fix the sync is a little off between the audio and the video. I want to see if I can fix that. Give me a second here. I think the audio is a little... Oh, I got it. Well, I think I can fix that. Give me a second here. I'll fix it. I'll replay what she said, but get it more in sync. Let's try this again.
I don't think none of us are competent enough to describe what happened. It is beyond imagining. We can't really imagine. At one point you would think that you have some missiles just letting go in the glass. You just see things just going here, there, glass, boom. And in spite of everything, patience are there to take care of. Even after the storm, we have emergencies, using lanterns and flashlights. But God has been good to us.
So what we're doing now is the initial assessment of the damage. We have with us the acting Chief of Defense Staff and Brigadier Williams as well. And they are doing their assessment that will feed into ADPEN. Hopefully by tomorrow we will have cleared the routes in the Black River because they're all blocked now. There's no traffic that can come in vehiculous from outside. As I'm seeing, some of your transmission towers are down, so telecommunications will be affected. Of course, almost all.
He did just say, like, that was one of the other ministers we heard from earlier said this. They have to do, I guess, cleaning or clearing or whatever. They have to make it so that vehicles can come in. They have to clear a route in so that help can get there. He also said that he had seen that transmission towers had gone down. But, like, because when they were walking around, you weren't seeing traffic, but I guess they, obviously there's going to be problems with roads and debris and all that, so they literally have to get it so that help can come in.
Of your electrical grid is done.
So this is the
No, that's what we're trying to do now. We're doing an assessment to see where we need to put what equipment to move. I know it's rough. I know it's rough for me, but yeah, I have to hold it out now. All right? I have to just hold it out. By tomorrow, however, roads will be open. That's what we're working on. That is something that we could.
Yeah, I can talk to the road bus service once you can get in people definitely.
Yeah. So you're not from here. Where are you from? Oh, yeah, Mount. Oh no, but definitely within the parish, yes, we can provide transportation. Yeah. All right. Yes, within the parish we can do that. All right.
Can run some routes. Can't remember the buses won't be.
So
So that's quite a video that the Prime Minister posted. And just again if you missed it before, just to stop on some of the images here, it's just crazy. I mean, so many places with the roofs gone and looks like windows gone, flooded out. But if you just look, one by one, I mean, it looks like there was all this flooding here, and looks like there's no windows, and most of them don't have roofs, and for all you know, they were just all flooded in. I'd be interested in knowing how high the water got. This is Black River. Black River is right on the water, about 6-7 miles from where the hurricane came ashore. So it's like prime storm surge territory. So for all you know, the water was at the roofs of the houses yesterday or something. And I don't have video of that, but that very well might have been the case. A lot of these might have been submerged. Beach Kid says, no power means no gas. They can't drive. Terrible. CC says, I hope they have food and drinkable water right now. So as I mentioned before, there is an official government site. If somebody does want to donate, I donated there last night. The government has established an official donation site, which is supportjamaica.gov.jm. I will put the link in the chat, but it is, hold on, supportjamaica.gov.jm. Babe Alicious Nail says British Army are already there. Is that true? Yeah, so I just posted that link. Again, supportjamaica.gov.jm. That is the official site. Jay Bowen says, so far only 4 have been confirmed deceased. I read an article from AP that said 8 were deceased, but that 3 of them were killed in preparation. But bodies have been found in Jamaica today. So, I mean, the assessment is going on and the response is going on. Hopefully they don't find many more people. Cares Best says British Parliament was speaking about giving aid to Jamaica today. I have some other video here I can show you as well. If you give me 2 seconds here, show you a little more video. There's that one. Then there's this one. Then there's, hold on, give me a moment. This one. There's this one. And then there is this one. Actually, I think I have one more. I'll show you some of those. So Reuters says it was a Category 3 when it hit Cuba. It was Category 5 when it hit Jamaica. At least, in Cuba, the city of Santiago got hit. At least 241 communities remained isolated and without communications following the storm's passage across Santiago province in Cuba, affecting as many as 140,000 residents in Cuba. Authorities evacuated around 730,000 people in eastern Cuba as the storm approached. Most remained in emergency centers. That is in Cuba. About 77% of the country was without electricity. The capital, Kingston, was spared the worst damage. Authorities hope to reopen Kingston's airport on Thursday. Main airport. One U.S. tourist on vacation in Jamaica by phone said it was so crazy, like a freight train trying to come to a stop for 8 hours. I've never experienced anything like this before. I saw a video on TikTok that two people posted who they were American tourists, I believe. I don't know if they were definitely tourists. I think they were American. And they were staying at a hotel in Montego Bay, which is on the north part of the island. And they were staying there, they were on vacation, it looked like, and basically the authorities, I don't know, maybe they tried to get out and they couldn't get out, but they were still there. So the hotel basically just had all the guests go into this room where you would basically get a mattress. You got your own mattress, and it was just all these different guests in this same room just to stay safe. And they were handing them out like cards where they could choose what food they want, and they would bring them their meals in this room. So you're going from your vacation to that. Now at least they had a place to go and some food. A lot of people had homes and they lost their homes. But there's videos of that too. Regarding Cuba, Reuters says the timing could hardly be worse for the communist-run Caribbean island of Cuba, already suffering from food, fuel, electricity, and medicine shortages that have complicated life, prompting record-breaking emigration since 2021. Cheryl Simpson, there was a Canadian person who reported that too about being stuck there. Evelyn in Maine mentioned damage at Sangster Airport. I don't know if one of these videos has, I'm going to show you a couple of videos now. I will post a link to a video showing damage to Sangster Airport, which I saw yesterday, which was Sangster International Airport. I'm posting the link right now. That's from Jamaica Observer. And Sangster is in Montego Bay. That's the north side of the island. Yes, Beach Kids says Sangster is the airport in Montego Bay. Let's look at I was just showing you this article from Reuters. Let's look at a couple of the videos they posted. They posted a couple of videos. I want to show you these. Give me one moment here, and I will show you them. Okay, here is one of the videos. Here. Which one? This one first, maybe? Okay, this has some shots of some of the debris and the damage here via Reuters. So let's look at this one first.
Jamaicans waded through flooded streets and debris on Wednesday after Hurricane Melissa, the strongest storm on record to hit the Caribbean island, left behind a trail of devastation.
When me say flat, all who have decos flat, all who have zinc flat, come, we need help now!
Hours later, the storm roared into eastern Cuba, where it weakened to a still powerful Category 3, slamming into the city of Santiago and flooding rural land. Melissa hit the southern coast of eastern Cuba with maximum sustained winds of 120 miles per hour, according to the U.S. National Hurricane Center. Footage showed torrents of water rushing through roads and people navigating flooded areas outside homes.
Big up yourself.
Wow, food, everything gone. Everything gone.
Melissa had roared ashore near Jamaica's southwestern town of New Hope on Tuesday as a Category 5 hurricane. The historic storm demolished homes, knocked down swaths of trees, and washed out roadways. Authorities did not yet release details of fatalities, but said they expected some loss of life. On Wednesday morning, Jamaicans began to assess the damage.
It was terrible. The wind, it was violent. It was terrible for all of us. I have a son here, and believe me, he was actually crying. So we were all full up, and we was just weeping when we hear the breeze. So it was terrible.
Meteorologists at AccuWeather said Melissa ranked as the third most intense hurricane observed in the Caribbean. Scientists say hurricanes are intensifying faster with greater frequency as a result of warming ocean waters caused by greenhouse gas emissions. The storm was expected to weaken some as it crossed Cuba, but would remain a dangerous hurricane upon reaching the Bahamas. Jamaicans waded through flooded
That one. I'm going to show you another one too. Just as an overview, I've been saying just an enormous task to rebuild, even to, I'm sure, getting, demolish things and get rid of the debris. Sound Mixer says, so sad for them. We showed you that one already. We don't need to show you that one again. Let's try this one. Francis Felter says probably be post-hurricane deaths as well. I hope not, but you don't know. For example, if somebody needs medical care and the hospitals aren't functioning, as they normally would be or something like that. Jean-Paul Chan says choppers is the only way at this point. CC says this hurts me inside. So this is another short video. Now we saw a clip of this guy. I don't know if he's saying something different here. Let's see.
It was terrible. I witnessed I'm 54 and I witnessed about 3 dangerous storms, but this one was worse. It was terrible. The wind, it was violent. It was terrible.
Yesterday I didn't have any fear. I've been through a storm already, so I know what to expect. I wasn't worried about my neighbors around me, and we keep connected on the phone until the phone got disconnected. Well, I think it's going to be rough, and I think we're going to have people get injured worse than what we thought about. Because a lot of people lost the roof and so forth, but we still have to pick up the pieces and move on.
It was terrible. I witnessed about...
Okay, so that's that one. I have another one to show you. This one's about Cuba. This is specific. It's a short video about the hurricane hitting Cuba today from Reuters, from the same article. Check out this one. That's that one. And we have a couple more, I think. We have this one. Residents in Jamaica inspect widespread damage after Hurricane Melissa hit the island. Let's look at this one. Also a Reuters video. Let's see. That's the building. That's the building where the live shot was. Remember, we were watching the shot where that camera was, but they had to take the camera inside. That's the building the live shot was being taken from yesterday. Notorious Rob remembers. It was right inside there. I think we saw some of that roof come off yesterday during the live stream. Pat W. said earlier today they were live from there as well. Then there's also a clip of what President Trump had to say about this. So I'm going to play that for you from Reuters. Let me play that. Here. Trump confirms the U.S. is prepared to send aid to Jamaica.
Never seen numbers like that. I saw it a little while ago, 195 mile an hour wind. I've never seen that before. I've never seen, I guess it can get that high, but I've never seen it. And it's literally just, knocking down everything in front of it. It's a stage 5, I guess. And you don't see stage 5. You don't see 5s very often. You see 4s and 3s, but this is a 5 early on, meaning it gets worse. So it's done a tremendous job. You mean with Jamaica?
Is the United States going to?
Well, we have to. On a humanitarian basis, we have to. So we're watching it closely and we're prepared to move. But it's doing tremendous damage. It's, as we speak, it's right there right now. Never seen numbers like that. I saw it a little while ago, 195 miles.
So that was President Trump earlier today. Okay, now I have a question for you guys. Give me a moment here. I'm going to ask you a question. Hang on one second. Give me one moment here. I'm also just checking to make sure I haven't missed any kind of updates, big updates, while we're on the air about Jamaica. So hang on one moment here. Oh. So the next press briefing is tomorrow. I just saw this posted right now. Special press briefing tomorrow. Do you guys want to... I didn't even get a chance to watch it today. Do you want to see some of the press briefing from today? I can play some of the one from today they had. I'll see what the chat says. Maybe you've all seen it already, so I don't know. I'm asking the chat if they want to see any of it. We don't have to watch the whole thing if you don't want, but we can play some of it. I'd like to see some of it because I didn't get a chance to see it. We'll play some of it. We'll do that next. But it looks like the next one is tomorrow morning. All right, so we're definitely going to play some of that. We'll do that next. But I did want to let you know it looks like the next one is tomorrow morning. And those who don't want to watch it can take a break while I'm playing that part. Oh, Vicky said, is there another storm chaser who hasn't been heard from? Jonathan Petramala. Is he not? Because people have not heard from Josh Morgerman. We talked about that earlier. Is that true? I don't know. I know he was in Jamaica. Has he not been heard from? I'm not sure. I'm asking. Jonathan Petramalo. I just don't know. I haven't been following him today. Again, I don't know. Pat W says he last posted yesterday. Jonathan specializes in documenting major disaster events. Well, I hope if he hasn't been heard from, he turns up, and certainly, and I also hope, obviously, that Josh Morgerman, we hear from him soon. Chucky's Chicklet thinks they are just hunkered down with no power, which very well might be the case. All right, let's check out some of. We're going to talk about some other stories during this stream, by the way. I'll have to watch. Black Irish sent me a video where the owner of Sea Jamaica talked and it was interviewed. I'll have to watch that later. I think it's on the Weather Channel. Kiwi NZ said there were crocodiles in some areas. I had read something about that. So I know yesterday, for example, Jamaica's Southeast Regional Health Authority issued a notice. This was yesterday. And they said yesterday, as hurricane conditions intensify, residents of Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, and St. Thomas are urged to exercise extreme caution as heavy rains and flooding may result in crocodiles being displaced from their natural habitats. Rising water levels in rivers, gullies, and swamps could cause crocodiles to move into residential areas in search of dry ground. Residents living near these areas are therefore advised to remain vigilant and avoid floodwaters. I don't know if that actually happened. I haven't heard any reports of any crocodile attacks, fortunately. But that was yesterday. That was posted. Thanks for mentioning that, Kiwi NZ. What was this before? Hold on. You know, interestingly, I haven't heard about many landslides, and maybe there were a lot of landslides. I just don't know. That was something that was warned about before the hurricane. And our viewer, Callie, mentioned that a local reporter had posted a video, which I think is of a landslide, and I'll post a link to it in the chat right now. But I haven't heard much about that. But I don't know. They might have happened and we haven't heard about it. Let's show you guys some of what the Jamaican authorities had to say today. Lithrone says they could still happen. All right, this is from today. This is from today. We'll play at least some of this so you can get an idea of what the authorities said today in Jamaica. Oopsie. We need to do it this way. And I'm going to say this was earlier today in Jamaica. I haven't even seen it. I assume it was in Kingston. I'll double check. Hold on a moment here. Oh, unknown location. Well, it was in Jamaica. Earlier today. A quick thanks to Jean-Paul Lechance for the memberships. I very much appreciate that, Jean-Paul. Thank you so much. Also, PB and Jam, our member. Thank you. Thanks again, AZ, Intel's dad. Also, thank you to all of our moderators like A Big Ball of Yarn, LB Prairie Dawn, I Got That Fire, Matthew Kohai 3, Mick Britches, and Sarah on Twitch. On YouTube, Janet B. and Beth Mythical. Thank you. Linda Belk, Larry, Misha on X. Over on Facebook, Ava Knight is over there moderating. Margaret Riley, thank you. Shannon Davis Hughes. Carly Willis. I think Carly, our viewer, is in Jamaica. Carly says, I'm packing some stuff to aid in St. Elizabeth, so we'll be on and off here. Wow. What else did Carly say? She says, I am doing okay. I have poor data, so not able to stay connected. Again, I think Carly is in... She's in our Facebook chat, but I think she is in Jamaica. If I have that right. Oh, Mindy actually says Jonathan Petramala posted on his Instagram 3 hours ago. Well, maybe that's the case then. I'll check out his Instagram real quick just to see if I can confirm. He is a documentary filmmaker. Did he post 3 hours ago? Let's see. I'm going to look myself and see. I'm on his Instagram. And yes, Jonathan Petramala said, we are trying to get to Black River, a lot of roadblocks. That's what he said. So he did post 3 hours ago. There you go. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, let's take a look at some of what the Jamaican government said earlier today in their briefing. I'm going to watch it with you. Thank you to John Senna, by the way. All right, here we go. One moment here. One moment. Here it comes right now. I can't hear anything. Let me make sure I have the sound on. I gotta turn the sound on. Oh. Hold on. Its sound is coming through. There's something I'm doing wrong. I'm doing something wrong so that you cannot hear the sound. Wait 1 second.
With their families, we are doing all that we can to get what is happening across Jamaica. I know they...
Here we go. Here we go. I think maybe the sound takes a second to kick in. Give it a second here. Give it a second. Hold on. It'll kick in. It'll kick in. The sound will come on. Give it a second. I think it took him a second to get the sound on. Here we go.
Jamaica, it's been a difficult day. Yesterday was extremely difficult for a lot of people. I know that a lot of families are worried because they've not been able to get in contact with their families. We are doing all that we can to get the information to you so that you know what is happening across Jamaica. This is going to be a short briefing because we do need to get out there. We're in the middle of our recovery activities. We're in the middle of doing our assessments. And so we have to do this really, really quickly. And so as we start this morning, we do want to say that it looks really, really difficult in many parts of Jamaica, and it is very difficult. And the images we're getting are really devastating. But as always, I've always said it, we are a strong people, we are a resilient people, and we will get through this together. The first order of the day today really is to have an assessment of what has happened, and that is being done. This morning, right before this press briefing, there was a cabinet meeting, that was really about coordinating how we get these assessments done well, how we get resources to those that need it the most. And so all of our ministers will be out working really hard with their teams to get the support to those who need it the most. We also want to thank the international community for all the offers of assistance. We are so grateful to you to be so supportive to us in this very difficult time. And we will be working through our Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade to coordinate a lot of those offers of assistance that we've gotten from around the world. So given that this is a short briefing, we do want to talk about where we are with the weather, because we out there, and so we want to know the latest situation in terms of the weather. And so I bring Evan Thompson up to give us an update.
Thank you very much, Minister, and good morning to everyone. The sun has come out today, and we're happy to see that things are starting to look a lot brighter. And we, of course, expect that as we go through today, we'll continue to make things even better for ourselves as we do all the cleanup activities and arrange ourselves for the future. Let me give you an idea of what has happened across the island. Let me show you this image that I'm going to show first of all is showing the actual path of the hurricane that moved across Jamaica. Hurricane Melissa, Category 5 Hurricane Melissa. The first that this has happened to Jamaica, experiencing a hurricane at this magnitude, and we have been through it. We are now about to recover from it. And here we see where the system made its entry in the extreme eastern part of Westmoreland, moving across eastern Westmoreland and over southern St. James before going across the northwestern part of Trelawney. We see where it exited east of Falmouth, and this was just about 5 in the afternoon yesterday. This continued. The system has been continuing toward the northeast. So the swath of that we see of all the hatched lines that you see on your chart show much of the extent of the core of this system and where most of the activity took place as it moved across Jamaica. Of course, the entire island was engulfed by the clouds, the showers, the thunderstorms, and of course the very strong winds associated with at least tropical storm. The tropical storm force winds, but over closer to the center of the system would have experienced hurricane force winds. Let me go back just to show you what the image looks like in terms of where the satellite image shows us where the showers and thunderstorms are now located. The system is now centered over the eastern part of Cuba. That's where you see the red blotch over the southeastern part of Cuba. And so it has started to move away. Last night at about 11 o'clock, we downgraded the hurricane warning for Jamaica and instead replaced it with a tropical storm warning that continued through the night as tropical storm conditions continued to be experienced across the country. And as we moved to this morning at 8 o'clock, we discontinued that tropical storm warning because we are no longer within the scope of tropical storm force winds that are associated with the system. So as it continues to move away from Jamaica, of course, we expect conditions to be. However, I want to point out that area of showers that extends from the general mass of clouds associated with the hurricane, but extends over western parts of Hispaniola, over Haiti, and all the way to the south of Jamaica. That's the spiral band that is supplying the system with a lot of moisture and energy. And so we see that we could
Hey guys, so this was from this morning. So I'm going to forward a little through the weather stuff since the storm has already moved further. I feel like the thing people want most from this is the briefing, is the update about the recovery. So because this is a little later now than when this happened. So let me just forward it a bit here. I think it's interesting when he's showing where it actually went. They actually have the map of the path it took. So let me just forward it a little bit and see what he says.
The island, north central, northeastern parts of the island, that's where we expect most of the rainfall, about 2 to 4 inches of rainfall, 50 to 100 millimeters of rainfall expected over sections of the island, and that's where we expect that to occur. Over the southern and western parts of the island, we do expect that we will still experience some amount of rainfall as well. Periods of rainfall, outbreaks of rainfall may not be heavy, but we do expect maybe 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. That's 25 to 50 millimeters of rainfall over those sections of the country. So you will still experience some rainfall. We are going to, we have issued our last bulletin where we consider threat to the island from this hurricane. So that was issued at 8 o'clock today. Further information on this system will be communicated, however, by the Meteorological Service through regular news releases, also informing you of the latest position of the hurricane, even though it's no longer a threat to us here in Jamaica. And we'll also be communicating that there is a flash flood watch that's in effect at this time, just in case that we do have those heavy rainfalls occurring over sections of the country. Flash flooding is still a possibility, and so we have a flash flood watch that will be in effect for sections of the country, primarily in the north, where the greater likelihood of heavy rainfall exists at this time. So the system is continuing to move toward the northeast. It's now over eastern Cuba, as I mentioned, expected to move over the southeastern part of the Bahamas and then out into the Atlantic, heading close towards Bermuda, and that should occur by Friday of this week. So we're moving now to the recovery phase of this. The Met Service will, of course, be conducting our own assessment of what has taken place. We will provide a formal report to our minister, of course, that would be shared, and that is going to indicate what amounts of rainfall were actually experienced across the island, also where we had the strongest winds. We thank all those who have supported us over the past few days, particularly the National Hurricane Center in the United States, in Miami, Florida. They have been constant support to us, and generally the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration of the U.S. has really been providing us with information and ensuring that if we needed anything, they would make sure that it was made available to us. We also want to thank the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology in the Caribbean that has been supporting as well with modeling products that come out of their area. They ensure that they monitor what kind of storm surge, what kind of rainfall, how the winds will be moving across the island, and we want to thank them very, very generously at this time. There are so many others who have supported us and have also expressed their gratitude for what we've been doing as a meteorological service, and we do want to wish Jamaica all the very best as we move forward from now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Evan. I think we're going to miss hearing your reports, but a part of us will also be happy not to have your reports anymore. I'm going to give you some quick updates, and then we'll close with Minister Mackenzie giving his updates from the ODPEM standpoint. My updates are a bit far-reaching, and I know many people are asking questions, and so I'll try to answer what we've been seeing being asked. One of the things we have to start with, we just issued a release that notes that the government of Jamaica has issued an all-clear following the passage of Hurricane Melissa. So we've issued an all clear. That comes after guidance from the Met Service. You heard they're no longer going to be doing any updates, and also in consultation with ODPEM. As a matter, what that means is when we give an all clear, it means that our utility company should now commence restoration and recovery operations across the island. So crews from the JPS, NWC, NWA, our Works Agents, our Water Commission, and also our telecommunications companies and other critical service entities have now and will be advised to mobilize immediately to restore electricity, water, and communication networks. We're also asking and encouraging entities like our supermarkets, our wholesales, our gas stations, and farms, particularly in those areas that have been less affected. We are asking you to open and allow communities to have access to these essential goods and services. And as always, we continue to ask and remind Jamaicans to exercise caution on the roads, especially where there are downed power lines, debris, or flooding. And so please still be careful, even though we've given the all clear. The all clear is for our utility providers and other important essential providers to do the necessary work to restore service. Some other updates I have. In terms of electricity, 77% of the country is without electricity. There is work that's going to be done to bring that up as quickly as we can, but that is a large number. The least affected areas of Jamaica have been St. Thomas, St. Catherine, and sections of Kingston and St. Andrew. Obviously, we know the most affected areas have been on the western side of the island. In terms of water, there were just a limited number of systems down last night, a little bit over 70, but we have about 700 water systems that were down. Overnight, some of them may have lost power. So we do expect that number to go up, but for the most part, our water systems held up quite well. Turbidity is a concern, and so that may also throughout the day affect water supplies. In terms of our telecoms providers, they are getting assistance from Starlink to use satellite technology to assist many of our individuals and our companies to get back online. I know so many people have said they cannot reach their families in Western Jamaica. That's because of damage to the telecoms infrastructure. As you would imagine, a Category 5 hurricane is catastrophic. And so it would have left significant damage. And so that's why we're not getting communication. I finally got some communication just now from some individuals in Montego Bay. So slowly we're getting some of our systems back up, and you should be able to reach your families, we're hoping, very soon. The other question we're being asked about is the airports. We are working to have Norman Manley up by tomorrow to facilitate relief flights. That's dependent on the assessment that's done today. As we speak, Minister Vaz, or Minister of Energy, Telecoms and Transportation, he is up in one of the choppers. He is assessing the damage at that airport. He's also looking at the Ian Fleming Airport to see if that is an alternative. We will not be able to give any information on Sangster International Airport in Montego Bay at this time. When we have that information, I will provide that to you. In terms of our roads, the National Works Agency has been given the all clear. They're already out there clearing major thoroughfares as best as possible. Obviously, in Western Jamaica, it may take more. We also know that in the center of the country, in Clarendon and in Manchester, there was a lot of damage, a lot of flooding too. And so they're out there assessing and doing and clearing the roads as quickly as they can. In terms of overall damage assessments, I think that's what everybody wants to know. What's the damage? It is really too early for us to say definitively what's the damage. We know it is Western Jamaica that had the brunt of the impact. We will have to give you that in the coming days. But right now, later today, the Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, will be surveying the country. He will be going to St. Elizabeth, I think flying to St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Westmoreland, and also St. James as conditions allow. As I said before, Minister Vaz is with JPS and is looking at the electricity network and also at the airports to be able to give an assessment there. The Jamaica Defense Force or military is also out doing their assessments. We'll get more information soon. And Minister Tufton, or Minister of Health and Wellness, is also going out via helicopter to look at the damage to the hospitals, because that's also a key priority. So as soon as they have come back, we will be able to give you information and better guidance in relation to the damage. In terms of schools, we've been asked that quite a bit. We are still getting the assessments from the schools. We know there is significant damage in Western Jamaica. We will get those details as soon as we can. Individuals are also asking about the catastrophe bond that Jamaica has. We expect it to be triggered. I can't tell you that it has been triggered. We expect it to be because of the level of rainfall and also the wind speed and the barometric pressure of that hurricane when it hit Jamaica. So there are many reasons that it would be triggered. And so we expect that it will be triggered. And once it is and we have confirmation, we will tell you that. In terms of the opening of government offices, we have asked the permanent secretaries in all of the ministries to do their assessments so that a decision can be taken. Our goal is to have our ministries open to be able to essentially services as quickly as possible, especially in Kingston and St. Andrew, where we've had minimal damage, and also in St. Catherine. And so the permanent secretaries are doing that. I'm seeing some of the assessments come in already, and so we thank our permanent secretaries for that. And so as soon as we can, we will start opening up our ministries for the essential services. Not everyone, and we haven't given an all clear for all ministries to open, but some people are very essential, and there are some operations that are central to the country getting back up on its feet. Our goal is to bring back up Kingston. Kingston has 1 million citizens, and so it is important that we get Kingston back up. It was not badly damaged, and we are grateful to God for that. And where there has not been much damage, we will bring those areas back. It's the same thing with electricity. The JPS has said that they will start restoring those areas that had minimal damage. So in Kingston, St. Catherine, St. Thomas, we'll start to see electricity being restored more quickly, and then they will move to damaged areas. Those are the key updates I have for you. Just noting that based on Mr. Thompson's diagram and the trajectory of Hurricane Melissa, yes, it has moved past Jamaica, but it is going to affect some of our regional brothers and sisters, and we pray for them like they were praying for us. And so we pray for Cuba, we pray for the Bahamas, and we pray for Bermuda, as they are going to be seeing the effects of this hurricane that has so devastated parts of Jamaica. And so those are my quick updates. Hopefully I got through most of what was needed. I will now hand over to Minister Mackenzie, who will give you the update from our Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management standpoint.
Thank you, Minister Dixon. I just want to say pleasant good morning to all Jamaica, and for those in the western part of the island who was impacted severely, just want to reach out and to say that we are all in your corners and we are hoping for the best. The first question I want to respond to, I keep getting a lot of messages about fatalities. We are not in a position to speak about any deaths because we have not had any reports of any deaths so far. So we cannot presume that there are deaths. I'm hoping that there are no deaths to report on, but we are not in a position to make an official statement on deaths because we have not received any such information. The general overview is that the country continues to experience the Hurricane Melissa, and the weather experts have given you a full picture of what is presently.
I just want to interrupt for 1 second. So this was this morning. It did come out today. There's been reports of a number of deaths reported in Jamaica. And I just want to mention, for example, the latest report by Associated Press says, I'm pulling it up right here. Hold on a moment. I also need to, they were having a little bit of an issue with their transmission, I think, this morning, so I have to refix the audio and video sync on that. But they said in Jamaica, 8 people dead as of right now. I think that might include the 3 who were killed during preparation. But I just wanted to mention that. The Jamaica news outlet, the Jamaica, what's it called? I have it right here. Jamaica Star reported that there have been 3 bodies found in Black River in St. Elizabeth today, unfortunately. So I just wanted to mention that. I'm going to hit play on this. I think he's the last speaker in the press conference today, in the press briefing. But while he's speaking, I'll try to just fix the video and audio sync. So give me a second to do that while he's speaking.
Taking overview is that the country continues to experience the Hurricane Melissa, and the weather experts have given you a full picture of what is presently taking place and what we must expect over the next couple of days. I want to speak a little about the situation in St. James, which was severely impacted yesterday. The Barnett River overflowed up to 16 feet of water, covered sections of Montego Bay, Westgate, Catherine Hall, Howard Cook Boulevard, the Freeport, Alice Elmire Drive, Barnett Street. Public infrastructure was severely impacted yesterday in the city of Montego Bay. The infirmary was damaged. The municipal corporation, 2 floors was flooded out. Jarrett Park, where the homeless population was housed, we had to remove them to a different location. The St. James...
Just to be clear, he said that yesterday in St. James Parish there was a river overflowed and there was 16 feet of water. And just so you can see that on a map here, St. James Parish is on the north side of the island. The hurricane came from the south. It did pass through St. James Parish. Montego Bay is in St. James Parish. But he said a river overflew and there were 16 feet of water. I had not heard about that. Anyways, I just wanted to point that out, that's on the north side of the island, not the south side. Okay, sorry. So I just wanted to mention that. Pierre says Montego Airport was no, Sangster Airport in Montego was here. Bay was hit hard. Yeah, I posted a video of that on my X account and I posted it in the chat earlier. All right, let's continue with the briefing, but he was talking about that.
High school was being used. There are problems there. We know what is happening at Sangster International Airport, and following the tour, as Minister Dixon said, there will be a full detail on the state of the Sangster International Airport. We have now been getting some level of communication between sections of Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And most of the calls that we have gotten are distress calls. Persons trapped on roof. The JDF and the Jamaica Fire Brigade, up to last night, we were contemplating what sort of approach to take, especially to catching all. But based on the conditions that existed, the first respondents decided that they would move, and as I speak, they are presently moving, especially in the catching all area and those areas, to see what the conditions are and to take persons out who are in need of getting out. Already we know the situation with the Ministry of Health and the number of health facilities that has been badly affected. The Black River Hospital has been devastated, for want of a better word. Falmouth in Trelawney, Cornwall Regional, the NOAA homes in Hanover, and as I said before, the Black River Hospital, Percy Jr. in Manchester, Lionel Town, and the St. Anne's Bay Hospital have all had some effects from the hurricane, and steps are being made. But you know, Jamaicans, in the middle of all of this, a baby was safely delivered under emergency conditions. So there is a Gilbert baby, a Melissa baby, and we want to commend the team who responded to that. And there are, as a matter of fact, we have information that 2 other additional deliveries occurred. One mother is resting comfortably while the other remained under observation in the Savlamar Hospital. So we are a great country, and despite our challenges, we rise to the occasion. Our road infrastructure, we have not had a full rollout yet of the damage, but I know there are a lot of block roads. The municipal corporations, the National Works Agency, already the National Works Agency was active last night in clearing access to the road linked to the Palisades Road and other main roads. So by the public will see some general activities on our roadways, making the roads accessible so that persons can move about. Fallen trees. I'll be meeting in a short while with the Jamaica Fire Brigade and the Municipal Corporation and the National Solid Waste Management Authority to map a strategy as to how to approach fallen trees. I want to urge the JPS to move, especially within the corporate area and other areas where there are fallen lines, and I said it yesterday and I want to repeat it again this morning. We are now in the process of beginning the cleanup exercise on our main roads. There are a lot of lines that are down, so we want persons to be very cautious in doing so. We have flooded roads. The NOAA team is mobilizing to clear block roads and to assess damage. As conditions improve, some of the roadways that were affected are Dalvey in St. Thomas, Hampton Green in St. Catherine, Caledonia Road in Manchester, and other roads right across the country. So we are just being specific based on the information that is coming into us. And by now, all the municipal corporations that can access their various municipalities will be out doing what is necessary. The question of search and rescue, as I spoke about that is being undertaken in a meaningful way, and all the necessary things will be done to ensure that persons who need to get out is in a position to do so. Our shelters is seeing now more than 25,000 Jamaicans. And since last night, more persons have been going into the shelters, and especially in the parishes that have been badly affected, a lot of homes have been destroyed. So persons now are now going to the shelters. We are going to be looking at a long-term basis as to how we are going to deal with the numbers.
I'm just going to interrupt. There's just a couple minutes left in this, so I'm going to let it play out. But what we're going to talk about right after this ends is breaking news. The U.S. military has destroyed another, what they call narco-trafficking vessel in the Eastern Pacific Ocean. Secretary of War / Secretary of Defense Hegseth just announced that another boat was destroyed and 4 male, he said, narco-terrorists were killed during the strike. Another one. So we'll talk about that in a moment. There's just, I think, like 2 or 3 minutes left in this, so I want to just finish playing this. There's actually more video that just came in from Jamaica as well. So let me just finish the briefing, and then we'll talk about that update about another boat being destroyed.
I want to say to all shelter managers, parish disaster coordinators, and to the municipal corporations, no one must be turned back from the shelters. No one. And we are not contemplating in closing any shelters now. Once we have done the assessment and to see which shelters can be closed, we will do so. But for the remainder of this week, no shelters must be closed. All shelters must remain open. We are now going to be moving, working now closely and based on the direction that has been given, to start now to position ourselves, to start to have relief supplies going out to the various areas once those areas can be reached. It is not going to be an easy road, Jamaica. We have seen the extent of the damage. It is going to take a lot of time. I know that person's patience is not going to last for much longer, because when you are in need, persons want us to break the rules. While we are prepared to do everything to accommodate speedy response, we also have to be mindful of the protocols that exist and the fact that we have to be accountable, and we don't want to be accused of doing anything that is not within what the law requires us to do. I am quite sure that persons have waked up this morning wondering what their future will be like. As I said yesterday, the government is here. We are committed. We have already started to put the necessary things in place, and within the next couple of hours leading in tomorrow, you will see a lot more, and by late this afternoon into tomorrow, a more comprehensive report on the status of the country and where we are will be provided. But I can also assure you that during the day, if it needs be, we will provide information as best as possible. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Minister. And this is the end of our press conference. As we end, we know that there are a lot of Jamaicans who are hurting, who are displaced, who are concerned about their future. As Minister Mackenzie said, no, we're here. The government is here. The entire country is here. And we're going to rally behind all of those in Western Jamaica as we also pray for them and pray for this wonderful country that we all love. And so we will see you again very soon. We'll put out a notice on when we'll have our next briefing, which will give you more information once we've done the assessments across the country. Thank you. And as always, God bless Jamaica, land we love.
So that was the update from this morning. And again, it was one thing I really noticed was when the minister said they basically don't have a really great idea of the total extent of the damage. That what a lot of what they're doing today is just getting out there and assessing what the damage is. 77% of the country as of this morning was without electricity. Communications down in a lot of places. So they're still assessing exactly what's going on and what happened. I'll show you in a bit. The Prime Minister just posted another video with damage on it, so we'll watch that. I do first want to talk about the new news that yet another boat has been blown up by the U.S. military near Latin America, guys. Another one. So we're going to talk about that for a moment. Then we'll take a look at the new video coming out of Jamaica. By the way, thank you so much to Gary Baines for the membership. Hey, Gary, I really appreciate the memberships. Thank you, Gary. And also Ogtuti. Thank you, Ogtuti, for your support of the channel. Specific Gravity, The Dancing Dragon. Thank you, John Senna. And Night Owl, thank you for subscribing over there on Twitch. Here is the update on the boat that was taken out. This just came out. This just got posted by Pete Hegseth, Secretary Hegseth, about 13 minutes ago. Here's what he had to say, guys. He says, earlier today, at the direction of President Trump, the Department of War carried out a lethal kinetic strike on yet another narco-trafficking vessel operated by a designated terrorist organization in the Eastern Pacific. This vessel, like all the others, was known by our intelligence to be involved in illicit narcotics smuggling and was transiting along a known narco-trafficking route and carrying narcotics. 4 male, he says, narco-terrorists were aboard the vessel and killed during the strike, which was conducted in international waters. No U.S. forces were harmed in the strike. The Western Hemisphere is no longer a safe haven for narco-terrorists bringing drugs to our shores to poison Americans. The Department of War will continue to hunt them down and eliminate them wherever they operate. Now, if it's the Eastern Pacific, I assume it might be near Colombia, maybe. If you look at the map here, you can see a number of these strikes have been carried out in the Caribbean Sea off the coast of... Oops, you can't see what I'm looking at, can you? You'll see it in a second. Here, one moment. There you go. Coming up. There you go. A number of these strikes have been carried out in the Caribbean Sea, which is, near Venezuela, near borders on Venezuela and Colombia, for example. But we're talking about the Eastern Pacific, so countries like Colombia and Ecuador would presumably be near where this happened. I don't know exactly where it happened, but that's the Eastern Pacific right here on the other side of Panama and Costa Rica. But he said the Department of War will continue to hunt down narco-terrorists, he says, and eliminate them wherever they operate. Wasn't it just yesterday that there were was it yesterday that 4 more boat strikes were announced? I think yesterday during the wasn't it like while we were covering the hurricane? Would that make 5 boats in 2 days? Yes. Yesterday, Secretary Hegseth announced that 4 boats had been taken out the previous day. And then this says today. So this is the 5th boat that's been destroyed in 2 days. And yesterday it was announced that 4 boats were destroyed, killing 14 people. Here's the announcement from yesterday. There's the one from yesterday. Hold on, I'll show this to you. This was just yesterday. Yesterday, and he said, yesterday at the direction of President Trump, so the strikes would have happened 2 days ago, the Department of War carried out 3 lethal kinetic strikes on 4 vessels operated by domestic designated terrorist organizations trafficking narcotics in the Eastern Pacific. The 4 vessels were known by our intelligence apparatus, transiting along known narco-trafficking routes and carrying narcotics. 8 male narco-terrorists were killed aboard the vessels in the first strike. 4 male narco-terrorists were aboard the vessel during the second strike. 3 male narco-terrorists were aboard the vessel during the third strike. A total of 14 were killed in the 3 strikes, with 1 survivor. All strikes were in international waters with no U.S. forces harmed. Regarding the survivor, U.S. Southcom immediately initiated search and rescue standard protocols. Mexican authorities accepted the case and assumed responsibility for coordinating the rescue. I got to see if there's any more reporting about that survivor. The department has now spent over 2 decades defending other homelands. Now we're defending our own. These narco-terrorists have killed more Americans than Al-Qaeda, and they will be treated the same. We will track them, we will network them, and then we will hunt and kill them. These strikes have been controversial, by the way. Some believe that these strikes are illegal under U.S. and international law. So these have been controversial. But that's the 5th one. That's the 5th boat announced in 2 days, and the 5th boat destroyed in 3 days. And that's 4 people killed today, right? And then 14 announced yesterday. So that's 18 announced killed in the last 2 days. I forget like the total number. I want to say it's like maybe 60 total have been killed, or 61 or something people. Where's the one from yesterday? Here's the video from yesterday again with his post. So again, the new one was just announced a few minutes ago. Gary Bain says you can see the drugs on the boat from the footage. Christy Claff says he has yet to show any proof to the American people. Sarcasm BTC says I voted for this, keep this up. JD63 says this government is sketchy AF. Karen G says, I'm sure they had good evidence before they struck. Annie Cush says they are illegal. Black Ops Secrets says there is no evidence. A Mule says it's a good deterrence. We don't need drugs coming on shore to F up our citizens. I'm all for it. Wall Street says they publicize this a lot. Might as well show some evidence. I think it's 61 with the new boat announced today that just got announced. I mean, it's becoming so routine, the announcements now. I believe there have been 15 boats taken out by the U.S. military. Hang on a moment here. One moment. Just one moment, guys. Give me one moment here. Again, that was just announced. Sorry, I'm trying to get some background on this. So this is an article from today, but before the latest strike was announced. This is an article, U.S. military strikes 4 alleged drug boats in Eastern Pacific, killing 14. This is from today, but before the latest boat was announced. There's an article from the Washington Post. About the survivor. One person survived when these 4 boats were struck. Mexican officials said in social media posts Tuesday afternoon that the Mexican Navy was conducting a search and rescue operation 400 miles southwest of the resort city of Acapulco, using both a patrol vessel and a maritime patrol aircraft. The operation was undertaken after a request from the U.S. Coast Guard, Mexican officials said, linking it to a survivor of one of the vessels hit by the U.S. military. So it's not even clear that that survivor actually was rescued yet, I guess. President Trump has accused Venezuelan President Maduro of overseeing narcotics trafficking operations into the United States, prompting speculation that the military buildup is aimed at unseating Maduro through coercion or force. Trump, speaking last week, said the land is next, indicating military action may move ashore in coming days. Remember, the U.S. has ordered an aircraft carrier strike group to come from European waters and move to the Caribbean region. Are we going to see more military action? Military action against Venezuela or against the Maduro regime? Experts in international law and some members of Congress have questioned the legal authority for the strikes on the boats, noting that the people targeted are alleged criminals, rather than soldiers or terrorists posing an imminent threat to the United States. Trump has said the U.S. is in, quote, armed conflict with drug traffickers, whom he has described as narco-terrorists, and pointed to the plague of drug overdoses as an assault on Americans that must be stopped. While Trump and Hegseth, says the Washington Post, have said that the attacks are aimed at stemming the flow of narcotics to the U.S., it is unclear what effect the strikes will have on cartel bosses who have outfoxed drug enforcement for decades. Also, some of you guys have talked about this. The Trump administration has not made public any evidence verifying its claims that the targets of the attacks were confirmed drug smugglers or that the boats involved were in fact carrying illicit drugs. The synthetic opioid fentanyl, which is the cause of most drug overdose deaths in the U.S., is most commonly produced in Mexico. The strikes in the Eastern Pacific and Caribbean point to alleged traffickers hauling cocaine from Colombia and Ecuador. Venezuela is a minor player in drug trafficking, officials and experts have said. Maduro, speaking on Venezuelan television last week, accused the Trump administration of inventing a new eternal war, despite having promised they would never again get involved in a war. And as we were just talking about, long-range bombers and attack helicopters have flown near Venezuela in recent weeks, and the USS Gravely, a guided missile. Actually, this doesn't even talk about the carrier group. Long-range bombers and attack helicopters have flown near Venezuela in recent weeks, and the USS Gravely, a guided missile destroyer, docked in Trinidad and Tobago on Sunday for what the military called training exercises. Trump has also authorized the CIA to conduct covert missions inside Venezuela. Look, remember, the United States, the Trump administration has now ordered a carrier group, aircraft carrier strike group, to head to the Caribbean region, which apparently is underway. The mission is further bolstered by advanced F-35 fighter jets deployed to Puerto Rico and overseen by a new joint task force activated this month. What is going to happen with the U.S. military presence building up there and building up in the Caribbean? Now, 15 boats, I believe, have been struck, killing, I think, 61 people with the new strike today. Jewish Pickle says, I trust our president. Skip Fu says, cheering the killing of people is a real weird flex, people. U.S. Rights and Freedom says, what about due process? Mama 457 Rose says, I have full faith in our intelligence community and our president. M says, you don't just bomb a boat if you don't know for sure who's on it, if there are drugs, etc. It's just not right. Casper thinks drugs are going to be more expensive now. Hey, thank you, by the way, to Marilyn Roberts, our new member. Thanks, Bass 300. Bass 300 says, can I ask about the speculation that the majority of narco trafficking coming by land potentially comes from before the border changes? So you're saying, Bass 300, that now with the different border situation, maybe less is coming by land? Well, I think maybe with fentanyl, though, isn't it the case with fentanyl that a lot of it is brought in by people like, including Americans, or not people coming into the country illegally? I don't know, though. Let's see here. Fentanyl flow to the U.S. So this is a report here from the DEA from 2020, which is a little old, but they talk about fentanyl flow into the U.S. and some of the things they talk about. Some of the ways are fentanyl in powder form, as well as unregistered pill presses, stamps, and dyes are shipped via mail services. That's one way they come in. Powder fentanyls are cut and diluted for further smuggling or pressed into counterfeit prescription pills. Precursors for manufacturing are shipped via mail services. So what I'm saying is, you could cut off illegal immigration, and that wouldn't necessarily cut off fentanyl flow. The American Immigration Council said that for whatever it's worth, they said fentanyl is smuggled through ports of entry in three main ways: on foot through pedestrian lanes, concealed in passenger vehicles, and concealed in commercial traffic. So the point is, there's all these ways that fentanyl is brought in, which doesn't involve some person illegally running over the border or something. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection, look at this. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection. More than 90% of intercepted fentanyl is stopped at ports of entry, where cartels attempt to smuggle it primarily in vehicles driven by U.S. citizens. So, I'm not an expert on that stuff, but you can just see these are some of the ways that it gets in. Bappy says, are we going to use the same rule to USA drug dealers found here? Death sentence? To make it make sense? Okay. Will I be covering the Trump-Xi meeting? I don't think so, and here's why. I believe Trump and Xi are going to meet around 10 p.m. I don't know if I'll still be on the air, but, well, my guess is that their entire meeting is not going to be televised. There might be some appearance where they speak briefly to the cameras. It's not at the White House, it's in South Korea. So, I mean, if I happen to be on the air, maybe, but, you know, we're not going to see their whole meeting. So, that's my thought. It's an important that they're meeting, but in terms of what we actually get to see, I don't know that it'll be that informative. You never know, though. Oh, I was going to mention something. I was going to mention the new video from Jamaica. Jonathan's back says, why won't Congress tell them to stop bombing people? This is disgusting. That's what our viewer, Jonathan's back, wrote in to me. Hang on a moment here. Reuters actually says on their site where they have videos, it says, no live of meeting with Xi. No live of meeting. Another video came out from Jamaica. I wanted to mention that. All right, so here is okay, this is from St. James. So the Prime Minister, Andrew Holness of Jamaica, just posted a few minutes ago a video from St. James, which I think we were just talking about. If I remember right, in the press conference, St. James Parish is in the northwest. That's where Montego Bay is. And one of the ministers in the press conference today said that a river had overflowed, I believe, and I think he said they had 16 feet of water in some areas. So again, this is the north part of Jamaica. The hurricane came from the south. So let's see what Andrew Holness, the Prime Minister, posted from... Hold on. Posted from St. James. I'm going to pull this up right now for you. Here it is. I have it right here. I have it right here. There it is. Ready? He says, I am now in St. James, where we are continuing our damage assessment. The residents here have suffered significant damage, including severe flooding. Remember, this is on the north side of the island. Despite the difficulties here, the Jamaican spirit shines through as a strong reminder that we are a resilient nation with the capacity to triumph over adversity. By the way, thanks to Gary Baines for the membership. Also, a shout out to our moderators who are here. Janet B is here moderating. Thanks, Janet. Also, LB Prairie Dawn, I got that fire. Matthew Kohai 3 and Sarah are modding. Thanks. Ava Knight on Facebook. Margaret Riley. Linda Belk, Larry, and Misha on X. Shout out to our Twitch subscribers, by the way, like Billy Joe, Wall Street, and Shaggy. Thank you so much for subscribing there. Night Owl. And I Got That Fire. And Mr. Clam 73. Matthew Kohai 3. All right, let's check out this video. And all of our other Twitch subscribers, thank you. Here we go. Let's see what the video is from St. James, the northwestern Jamaica. This is the Catherine Hall area. Catherine Hall. Wonder if everything was totally flooded out. I don't know. Experienced severe flooding here. Severe flooding was here. Residents had to clean mud from their homes.
We are in touch. Yeah, that's what we're doing. All right.
Look at all the mud. I'm sure the water, I'm guessing the water was much higher yesterday, but look at all the mud. That's the person's driveway, it looks like. And to repeat, this is in the northern part of Jamaica, not the southern part. Thanks to Jean-Paul Lachance, by the way. Thank you, Jean, for the memberships. at that, turned over.
History.
What's up?
Everything,
So you see all these go on, you know, you have to talk to them and stuff.
So to repeat, that was St. James, which is in the northern part of the island. Sydney says they will need a lot of help. St. James Province, up here. That's where the hurricane, you'll see it in a second. It's where the hurricane went after it first made landfall, and it made it towards the north. It went through St. James Parish. Cax says, look at all that mud. Where do you start? And I'm guessing a lot of those places we saw had been flooded the day before. Stephen Elder says they probably don't have insurance. That I don't know. Sophie B says, I feel so sorry for the people of Jamaica. I hope they get the help they need. By the way, just a reminder, the government did of Jamaica set up a Support Jamaica official donation site. That's the one I donated to last night. That's what it looks like, and I will post the link in the chat. It is Support Jamaica, all one word, supportjamaica.gov.jm. So I will post the link in the chat if anybody is interested. You know, one other thing I wanted to mention is we should mention this Brazil story, which is a wild story in Brazil. We haven't talked about that. The one with the a Brazil police raid resulted in over 100 people being killed. Got to be careful with the pictures here. I'm not seeing any graphic pictures on this one. Corpses line Rio Street after Brazil's deadliest ever police operation. I believe well over 100 people were killed. You can see here, Reuters says, maybe I'll just change the headline for the moment. Sometimes when we talk about a different story, I just change the headline. The deadliest operation in Brazil's history killed at least 119 people, authorities said on Wednesday, as Rio de residents lined a street with dozens of corpses found overnight. I can't show the photos. There's photos of those I've seen. A week ahead of global climate events in the city, state police said the raids targeting a major drug gang had been planned exhaustively for more than 2 months, designed to drive suspects into a forested hillside where a special operations unit was waiting in ambush. The elevated lethality of the operation was expected but not desired, said the head of security for Rio State. Rio police confirmed 119 deaths so far, including 4 public officers. Public defenders said the count would rise to at least 132. Residents of the Penha neighborhood in Rio gathered dozens of corpses from the surrounding forest overnight and lined up more than 70 bodies in the middle of a main street. One woman said, I just want to take my son out of here and bury him, said Tawa Brito, a mother of one of those killed, surrounded by weeping mourners and onlookers on either side of the long row of bodies. Some demonstrators gathered outside the governor's palace. Rio's most deadly police raid before Tuesday left 28 people dead in 2021. UN officials and security experts, says Reuters, criticized the heavy casualties of the military-style operation. The UN Human Rights Office said the killings add to a trend of extremely lethal police raids in Brazil's marginalized communities. Reuters reports that relatives of the fallen described evidence of summary executions, including bound limbs, knife wounds, and gunshots to the face and neck. Rio Governor Claudio Castro said he was certain those killed in the operation were criminals firing guns from the forest. He said, I don't think anyone would be walking around in the forest on the day of the conflict. He called the raids an effort to combat narco-terrorism. The Rio state government said the operation was its largest ever to target the Comando Vermelho gang, which controls the drug trade in several favelas, poor and densely populated settlements woven through the city's hilly oceanside terrain. Police also said they arrested 113 suspects and seized 118 firearms. President Lula of Brazil was surprised to learn the Rio police had launched an extremely bloody, violent operation without notifying or involving the federal government, said the Justice Minister of Brazil. over 130 reportedly killed in that raid. Chung Peter thinks that is not arrest but killing without trial. Feedback Loop says Rio governor is far right. That's what Feedback Loop said. I'm going to show you some more about this. Chung Peter says 100 killed, question mark, question mark. Let me also show you, hold on. Give me a moment. Give me a moment here. Reuters also report that the Rio de Janeiro Public Defender's Office said 132 people had been killed in the raid. Jonathan Boteril thinks the drug people were creating a war zone. Some things from the Washington Post article, they say violence and how to prevent it is one of the most sensitive political debates for Brazilians, surpassing the economy and healthcare as a top concern in recent polls. Castro is Claudio Castro is Rio State's tough-on-crime governor. He is a protege and ally of right-wing former President Jair Bolsonaro. Castro urged leftist President Lula to provide greater support in fighting crime. What else did it say here? A group of 2,500 civil and military police officers launched raids in the Alemão and Penha favelas of the northern Rio early Tuesday with armored vehicles, helicopters, and drones. The goal, according to police, was to capture criminal leaders and counter the territorial expansion of the Red Command gang or cartel or whatever it is. Red Command members, criminal organization, says. Red Command members responded to the police with gunfire and drones, barricading roads with buses, and lighting cars on fire, causing chaos and panic. Hours after state officials, this is kind of odd, hours after state officials put the death toll at 64 on Tuesday, favela residents laid more than 70 bodies out on rows on the ground. Then on Wednesday, the Rio State Public Defender's Office said it had confirmed 132 deaths and was still counting. Favela residents described difficulty leaving their homes during more than 12 hours of gunfire. Castro said the police was striking a hard blow against crime. The police will not leave the streets until the situation is fully under control. He said on social media, "We will not back down." Castro said violence in Rio was no longer a matter of ordinary crime, but narco-terrorism. That's the word that President Trump and the Trump administration has been using, talking about those boats that have been destroyed. Joe CS Mel thinks that the police can expect organized revenge on them. This story is not over. The state's previous deadliest action in Rio, I guess, was 28 people killed. This is over 130 dead. Hang on a moment here. AP reports some protests have erupted after the raid, and it drew accusations of excessive force. AP says questions quickly arose about the death count and the state of the bodies, with reports of disfigurement and knife wounds. One woman who said her son was killed in the police raid said this was a massacre. Do we have an activist said, do we have a death sentence? Stop killing us. So, big story in Brazil. The UN human rights spokesman said, "We fully understand the challenges of having to deal with violent and well-organized groups such as Red Command, but Brazil must break this cycle of extreme brutality and ensure the law enforcement operations comply with international standards regarding the use of force." Fred Flintstone thinks it was an out-and-out gun battle, not excessive force. The New York Times said there's still questions about exactly what happened in the operation, about whether innocent bystanders were killed, and who exactly caused all the killings. Residents said the internet and power cut out about 5 a.m. and then just before dawn, gunfire started. And some 2,500 police officers in dozens of armored vehicles descended on the area. Wow. Helicopters were overhead. Police images showed gang members using drones to drop explosives from the sky. Crazy. The Times points out that later that day, chaos spread. Some members of the gang hijacked buses and used them to block roads. Gunfire was still happening in the evening. Times also points out that the raids led to debate over the heavy-handed methods authorities in Rio have long used to fight organized crime. Wow. I don't know if I have any video from the actual fighting and stuff. Not graphic video, but I might have something for you. Let's see. Can I have anything here? I have this one video where a couple people are spoken to. Oh no, I might have two things. Let's see. I have a video showing some of the smoke rising from the actual raid. I'll show you that quickly. It's from this article right here. You'll see it in a second. At least 60, now this says at least 64 killed in Rio police raids ahead of climate conferences. But again, now it's over 130. So here's one of the videos. I think this might be the one where you see some of the smoke columns rising during the fighting. Let's see this one. Hold on.
At least 64 people, including 4 officers, died on Tuesday in Rio de Janeiro's most deadly police operation ever. The operation targeted a major gang just days before the city hosts a number of global events related to the United Nations Climate Summit known as COP30. Police have often conducted large-scale operations against criminal groups ahead of major events in Rio. The death toll, confirmed by Rio Governor Claudio Castro on Tuesday, was more than twice the city's most deadly previous police operation. The massive operation involved 2,500 security personnel across 2 favela complexes near the city's international airport. Rio's favelas are poor, densely populated settlements woven through the city's hilly oceanside terrain. The governor confirmed 81 arrests, and authorities are looking to serve 250 arrest and search warrants. Civil society groups have criticized the heavy casualties in a military-style operation.
I believe that is from the raid, the day of the raid, that picture. Then there's another video here with, I guess, a couple people talking. Hugh thinks they are appeasing Trump with that language, calling it narco-terrorism. One of the articles I read mentioned that. Where was it? Hold on. Can I find it? Nothing is working the way I want it to. ABC News said the governor of Rio said that Rio was at war against narco-terrorism, a term that echoed the Trump administration in its campaign against drug smuggling. I don't know if that's, trying to get in good with the Trump administration by saying that. That I don't know. Here is another video from that, just a short video from the Reuters article about this here. Rio de Janeiro residents are terrified after deadliest police raid ever in the city kills. It's actually over 130 people now.
It's tense. It's very tense. I've never been through this before. I'm from Carioca, born and raised here in Rio, and I live here in Rosinia, and it's chaos. So I've never seen anything like this before. It's terrifying.
A national public safety program is needed, as already proposed by the federal government and the states. Governors and states need to comply with this request from the federal government.
Besides fear, obviously the problem is that we feel we've gotten used to this, That's the problem. We got used to something that isn't right.
Few Brazilians talking about that raid. Sparky Pilot says we need drug use prevention measures. Bunny says, I thought Rio was just a beautiful tourist destination. I had no idea of the drug issue. Wall Street says the difference between this and the blowing up the boats is this is their own citizens, not that it's any more moral. Let's see here. Sparky Pilot says there's a drug issue in every city. Let's see here. Churgy says that is so sad. All right. You know what? We did our update. We talked a bunch about the aftermath in Jamaica. We talked about a couple other stories. There's going to be more from Jamaica. You know what's weird? I will say, though, one thing we don't have, it really seems like there was a lot of flooding there. And I don't even know if there's any video of the flooding. You know, one of the ministers said in the north of Jamaica, in St. James Province, there was some places with 16 feet of water. So I feel like maybe people don't appreciate how bad it was because there's not a lot of video of it. But it just seems like I still have not seen, I'm sure there was major storm surge. I have not seen a video. Really, I mean, there's some flooding videos here and there, but I saw one picture yesterday with a house, the water up to a roof of a house. But I feel like, you know, there's not that much of it, but I wouldn't assume that my guess is everything I've seen suggests that happened, but. You know, there weren't many storm chasers there, and the ones that were there were trying to they weren't really on the coast for understandable reasons. So now more stuff might come out, but you know, it just might be the case the way this is set up, you didn't have a lot of people running around, you know, with their phones taking video. Megatron thinks we haven't seen everything yet. And look, I will draw your attention to literally in the press briefing today, the government said they said we don't have a great handle on all the damage yet. We just don't know. We're going out to look today. Bunny says, my impression says, I thought it'd be a lot worse, but maybe we just haven't seen it. It's just, if you don't see the flooding and then the water goes away the next day, you've missed a huge part of the damage visually. So, I'll keep an eye on it. We may have more reporting about that, see how things go. But I think right now I'm going to wrap up this live stream. So we talked about Jamaica. We talked about a couple other things. And I'll keep an eye on other news happening. And when big news happens, we will come back on the air. But I'm going to wrap this up for right now. Yeah, we showed aerial footage. We showed a bunch of aerial footage today. I specifically mean the flooding the day of the hurricane. If you missed it, though, we showed a bunch of aerial footage earlier today. So I'm going to wrap up this live stream, but next time there's big news, we'll come back on the air. So if you want, subscribe and follow Agenda Free TV. We cover all kinds of live breaking news coverage without an agenda. We cover all kinds of live breaking news without an agenda, Agenda Free TV. And one more, before I wrap up, I will give that web address again for the official donation link for Jamaica. Thoughts with everybody in Jamaica. But a huge impact on that country. A lot of people have lost their houses and property. And one of our viewers said the death toll had gone up. I didn't see that. I'll have to look. Somebody said the death toll went up in Jamaica, which I hadn't seen yet. I don't know. I read an article that said 8 total, which I think includes the three from the preparation, but maybe new news has come out on that. So anyways, I'll keep an eye on it. I will post things on my X account too. Okay, but I appreciate you joining for this stream. Again, I'll post news updates on my X account. My X account is @Lookner. You can follow me there for updates about the news, @Lookner. And turn on notifications for the channel. I never know when big news is going to happen. We're going to rush on the air. So if you don't want to miss a stream, turn on the free notifications. We have a notification system that works great. You sign up once, you get sent a message whenever we're going live. We do it through Discord. The mods will post a link to the notifications in the chat. Oh, I owe a thank you to somebody. And you can also sign up for the notifications in the description of this video on YouTube and Facebook. The link to the notifications is there. Thanks to Amy Hollows. Amy Hallows for the Facebook stars, by the way. I forgot to thank Amy before. I very much appreciate also our, Gray says, the YouTube notifications work so well. Bunny says, I love the notifications. Huge thanks to our moderators who are always here, keeping the chat respectful and civil and under control. Thank you so much, moderators. People like Janet B. over there on YouTube moderating right now, and all of our other YouTube moderators who have been there. Thank you. On Twitch, Cerrero, LB Prairiedon. I Got That Fire, Matthew Kohai 3, and Sarah. Thanks so much. On Facebook, Margaret Riley, Ava Knight. Thank you, Shannon Davis Hughes, all of our other mods there. Linda Belk, Larry, and Misha on X. Thanks, moderators. Thanks to everybody who supported the channel. Very kind of you. I owe a thanks to Mom of 57 Rose. Thank you so much. I Am Charlie. Thank you. Jean-Paul Lachance. Thanks for the memberships. Thank you. Did I thank Shaft for the memberships? I don't know if I got Shaft before. Sorry, Shaft, if I didn't. Thanks also to Big Dog Gaming on Twitch. I appreciate your support for the channel. And also a reminder, you know what I should do? It's kind of weird to finish up with that headline. I'll finish up, I'll put the headline back from Brazil. That headline was, not Brazil, Jamaica. Even though we're wrapping it up. The government, Jamaican government website with a donation link, the Jamaican government official donation site for the hurricane is supportjamaica.gov.jm. That is the one I donated at. And that's what it looks like. And it has a donate button if you want to. You don't have to, of course, but if you want to, you can. That's what it looks like, and it's supportjamaica.gov.jm. And I will put the link in the chat if anybody wants it. Okay. Let's see. Hey, another good way to find out when we're live is to follow us on X @AgendaFreeTV. I post there whenever we're going live. I post updates about the channel there @AgendaFreeTV. We do have a chat where you can chat with other viewers on Discord. It's free. Our free Discord chat. Check it out. It's the same link as the notification link. A lot of our viewers like doing the chat over there. Again, same link as the free notifications. check out the Discord chat. And thanks so much to our Discord moderators for all you do. Thank you, Discord mods. For those who watch on YouTube, I would suggest turning on the YouTube notifications. To do that is a little bit tricky. What you need to do to turn on the YouTube notifications is you need to subscribe to the channel, then click the bell and choose all notifications. If you already are subscribed, make sure you've clicked the bell and chosen all notifications, then you'll get the notifications on YouTube. Thank you guys for sharing your updates during the broadcast, for letting me read your comments on the air, and for writing in. Hey, and thanks also to our Twitch subscribers for supporting the channel. Really appreciate it, like Wall Street and Shaggy. Night Owl, thank you. Hefty Tartar, thanks for subscribing. Billy Joe. And let's see. Barcodable, thank you. Night Owl, Annie Cush. Death Adder 1. Arizona Toaster, thank you. Massachusetts guy, thanks for subscribing. Savvy XXL. No, Savvy XXL is a viewer. Thanks for viewing and for being a first-time chatter. And all of our other subscribers like Oloso1375, My Florida 22. My Florida, I haven't seen that report that you mentioned, but I will keep my eyes out. Also, thanks to our Facebook subscribers as well, like LT and Chuck Mosca, Robert Rial II, Margaret Riley, Kay Lowry Body, Shannon Davis Hughes, Diane Allworth, all of our other subscribers over there, Michael Clayton and others. And our YouTube members, people like Eric Johnson, JK CNR, Evelyn in Maine, CAC 813, Phoenix Rising, Mulder, Jerry Kovacs, Bunny, Fred Flintstone, Michael Avery, Josie, Rich, JD63. Thanks for being members. Jean-Paul Lachance, Sydney. Did I say Pat W? Pierre Dubois. All of the other members, thank you so much for being members, and everybody else for watching. Grace. Kiwi NZ, thanks for being a member. Anita Modolewski, Sean C, Megatron, Callie Raven, Eric Johnson. Thank you, Mike Holland. Michael W S6. BTCO0, thanks for watching. Christy Claff, thanks for watching. Paula Thompson on Facebook. Audrey Burbank. Ann Spencer. Okay. All right, guys, we're wrapping this up. Thank you. Thanks, Grant74P, for watching on Twitch. So I appreciate you joining us for our update about Jamaica, and we covered some other stories as well. I will keep an eye on the news. When there is big news, we will come back on the air and cover it. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you soon with more live breaking news coverage right here at Agenda Free TV.